Hello, everybody. Good evening, everyone. It depends where you watching us from. Welcome again at Empowering You TV. I am so glad today to be here today. Bonsoir, everybody from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere. Today, I'm so excited. I think I need to calm myself down for a minute because not just only our special guest today. He's somebody that I definitely know personally, and we're talking about the kind of support that from day one. So I have a lot to talk about him. So I can't wait for you guys to meet him. His name is Pastor Albert Iwondo. He's a man of many hats. So welcome, Pastor Albert. How are you tonight?
Good, Sister Jeanine. I'm doing fine, and I'm blessed to be here this evening with you on this platform.
Thank you for definitely blessing us to be here tonight. I know it was just I will definitely was chasing you just to make sure that we have this time before the big news, guys, because tonight I'm just going to talk a little bit briefly about this wonderful adventure that he's been on. And today, it's definitely very soon we're gonna publish. He's an author already, so to me, I'm so excited. I can't wait to read about the book and to talk about the book. So that's why tonight we are here to discuss. But even before that, we're just gonna jump into our tradition. We have few words for you, and we would like you to answer those few questions. What comes to mind when you hear those questions, those words? Okay.
Yes.
So number one, our word for you it's transparency. What comes to mind when you hear about transparency?
When I hear the word transparency, what comes into mind is the ability to be comfortable in your own skin, and also being able to transmit knowledge and experience, because people cannot learn from you or from me unless we are totally open. So it's being comfortable in your own skin, and also being able to pass around that knowledge that people can glean because you being who you are.
Wonderful. Community.
Community is basically everything that you will think about, because community means we cannot make it unless we are part of a bigger picture. And community is that big umbrella that helps us, bring our dreams come to pass, bring our aspiration come to pass. So community to me is basically the big umbrella, is what covers everything that we're supposed to develop in us and be able to be productive in this life.
Unconditional love.
Whoa, unconditional love, that's powerful, because it means that you should be able to past somebody's flaws, past what you think is not tolerable to you, what is not acceptable to you, and being able to embrace somebody else's flaws. Because you cannot talk about unconditional love unless you're able to embrace my imperfections. So if you still struggle to embrace my imperfections, then you cannot talk about unconditional love. So basically, it's passing the flaws, seeing the best in others, not just the struggle, not just the challenge, but what they have in them that tells you that they can still rise up again. They can still make it in spite of the negative that you can see at that particular time.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice is basically, to me, standing, understanding that you have to pay a price. Everything in this life has a price tag. And most of the time, we are not able to achieve great things because we are more afraid of the price tag than the fulfillment of that calling or that dream. So it's the price that need to be paid. So to me, sacrifice is being able to say, I will put it on me. I will do whatever it takes until I'm able to climb and be on the top of the mountain, not just for me, but for as many people as possible.
Servant leadership.
Servant leadership is two things. Is being able, to me, is lead by example, but also be led by the people you leading. You cannot be a servant leader if in your mind leadership is all about getting the accolades. It's all about getting the you know the all the compliments and all the applause and all of that. So for you to be a servant leader, you need to not just be able to serve, but you also have to be able to put yourself in the shoes of those who serve, and then also be led by them, because they become your aspiration, they become your motivation. So a servant leader is someone that is leading while also letting the people that he's leading lead him, because we are able to see each other, because leadership is by grace. So the talent and then all the great things that we can display is not because we are better than anybody else. It's simply because God has favored us to be a little bit, maybe, positioned a certain way compared to others. So servant leaders, you got to be able to lead, but also be led by those you leading.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, Pastor Albert. That was really those 5 words that we wanted you to start with the conversation. Now, the reason why we're here tonight is
Yes.
because Pastor Albert just had a brand new powerful book. It's called The Power of Fellowship, right?
Yes.
Before
Absolutely.
even me starting, because I just want to give you a little a little story. The reason why I'm supporting this book, and I want to really welcome Pastor Albert on this platform, Empowering You TV, because he always have tools and strategy for all of us. Like I remember that me, I call him for so many other things, like so many things that not just related to business, but just in my personal life. He's somebody that who always show up. I can tell you like so many examples for me, for my family. So to me, he's a really an image of true leadership. And that's why, I'm asking him all these words because it means so much to me. He always show up for me, he always show up for my family. And those people like that, it's very rare to have people like that. So that's why I'm so blessed to have him today. Definitely as a leader, as somebody that I really trust. I really trust his guidance, and also making sure that every step of the way he's always there for me. So I'm very, very blessed to have him in my life. And also I really want to share with the world, and especially right now we all need to support him, and especially to know exactly what we're going to be learning through this book, because again, that's how we support people that in your life. That's why you see. So don't just talk, but also showing your support. It's really by doing different things for your close people. So that's why I'm so excited today. And hello, Pastor Mathieu. He's also amazing, another brother of mine. So I'm really glad that today I really get a chance to talk about the book. And welcome again tonight, Pastor Albert.
Thank you, thank you. I'm so humbled by your words, and then your family has been a blessing, because sometimes people don't realize that when God puts you in the position to serve, what people don't realize, the joy that comes with it, and also the privilege, and how much blessing and how much joy we get out of it. You say about your family, being there, but through that journey, your family has also been a blessing to me, and you've also been a blessing. Your twin sister, I mean, the whole 9 yards. So I'm equally excited and blessed to be part of this journey.
Absolutely, yes. And we can sit here and just go and for hours and hours, really to see how we've been blessed, for each other in so many ways.
Amen.
Um, but just talk to us about who is Pastor Albert as a person, as a father, as a man, and definitely as a businessman too, and as the author now, which is so excited. Just tell us briefly about who is Pastor Albert for our viewers.
Well, yeah, I can say a lot of things about me, but what one thing I can just tell you, that I'm a servant. I'm a servant, and in my heart, in my mind, I was born to be able to empower others. So I can sit here and talk about the many things, and the million things I do. And sometimes we live in an era and a time where there's that idea of self-aggrandizement. Everybody's big, everybody is this, everybody is that. It's all good, but at the end of the day, I'm just a servant. I'm someone that stands for people. I walk in compassion, I walk in love, and then I try in my business ventures, in my church ventures. I'm always remaining the same because one of my strongest principles is what is a day has 24 hours.
Mhm.
So if you decide to not be yourself and pretend for 8 hours or for 10 hours when you are at work or when you are at church, so at the end of the day, you're robbing yourself of the possibility of living a full day. So for 8 hours, you may not be you. So Ilonga Albert Iwondo, because that's my first name, my African name. I love it. Albert is my Christian name, but a lot of the Christian circle, I'm mainly known as Pastor Albert, but the name is actually Ilonga Albert Iwondo. He's just a servant, a someone that a brother, a co-worker, not just a pastor, but someone that can be in the service, playing the drum, playing the congo, going to the pulpit and preach. So it doesn't matter. Whatever there is a need, we go, we serve, and God gets the glory. And then we able to empower somebody else who's around our area. So that's who I am.
Absolutely, and I can really confirm to that, especially when you're talking about, playing the drum and go, transition from that to the pulpit, because I've really seen you doing all of that, and I kind of remember one of the few times where we definitely were asking him to come over, because again, we, in my family or around me, we always have like conferences, different things, and the only number one person people always think about, it's him. They always say, Jeanine, what about what? So sometimes it was not easy, guys, for him to just leave everything was doing. But because of, again, he's a person of service and leadership. To me, that's really what I really call true leadership. And he was, sometimes he can drive for hours, guys. To me, that speak volume. And I'm not just saying because, like he said, he's a person who always puts, service first. And you don't find a lot of people who do that. So I really admire and really humble to see him, really working that and impacted many generation, many people who they never forget about him. I know many people to them, when they see me, they always ask about him because they have seen how he always show up, how was, coming and sacrifice. That's why I really ask this word, because all these few words, it really means a lot to me, because this is really the reflection of him. I've seen him in so many occasions that, he had very good excuses not to come or not to show up, but he always come. And that also, I'm sure we're going to listen to more into those stories in the book about the power of fellowship, because he really understood how important it was really to show up in those moments. It could be a conference, it could be my personal life, it could be in a family. And that's why I really think that if somebody can talk about true leadership, it's really him. Because in so many ways, he has shown me, and I've watched him, I've learned so many things about leadership just by watching how he's doing. So I'm definitely glad that we're talking about that. And my other question to you, how was the process that you started actually writing this book? Did you just sat down and said, well, I need to kind of really put my thought together, or it was through experience, or just like how was the process of this, writing the book?
Very interesting because it didn't just come overnight. I can tell you that. And
Mm-hmm.
then the process of it came actually, I talk about it at the introductory part of the book. It
Mm-hmm.
was actually, an experience that I had to go through and that called for this book, because what happened is we, when I say we, is a few
Yeah.
friends that I have. We had a good
Mm-hmm.
friend of ours that
Mm-hmm.
we knew he was doing right and everything was going well in his life, and list that we knew, he had already drifted away, so
Mm-hmm.
we did not even realize that. So as I got a call on that evening, that's actually what triggered the book, because I
Mm-hmm.
could not understand how someone that was talking to us, we were in touch with him, he was a brother to us, could drift so much away from us, and none of us realized, because we were cert in a relationship with him, but
Mm.
we had stopped fellowshipping with him a long time ago.
Oh
And
wow.
that's
Yeah.
why we could not really realize that this
Mm-hmm.
brother of ours was already gone.
Mhm.
And from that moment, I started, asking question in my heart, in my mind. I mean, how could this be possible? This is somebody I was talking to on the phone every other day. But what happened? So that's where I begin to realize that, there is a strong difference between relationship and fellowship.
Yes.
Although most of the time, a good relationship will be attached with fellowship, but
Mhm.
sometimes, we have all these relationships with one another without fellowship, and then fellowship is actually the main connector. So if the person is going through a lot or something is happening to their lives, we might miss it simply because there's no fellowship. So that's what triggered the book. And then if I'm not mistaken, that was actually in 2017.
Mhm.
That's when it triggered, and I started writing. I started writing and putting the manuscript together and writing and
Mhm.
keep on writing, and that's what built until we got to this day.
Wow. I mean, just what you just said, like to me, it really blows my mind because I can remember, like, guys, I'm just gonna keep repeating what I just said. Um, you can know somebody or you can be in a relationship with somebody, but just the definition that you get, because it's very important. And you can be calling people friends, but until you go through something, when you don't see them, you
Right.
that's when you realize, oh, so it was just, just a simple a friendship. Or are we really friends because you were really looking for those moments where they would check on you, they would talk
Right.
with you. And even in business or even in the church,
Hmm.
many people, especially with the pandemic right now, they're
Right.
always expecting, your pastor or your leader to be able to call more often on you or just to check on you. And that's what, like you said, is sometimes we don't really pay attention to those
Yes.
moments, and many people are we just slide away. And people go into depression, and they find
Absolutely.
themselves in all kind of situation where,
Hmm.
but they have people around them,
Yes.
but
Yes.
that means they don't have that fellowship.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's profound what you said, because even when you look at what I come to discover writing the book, is the fact that that fellowship too, we can't just blame it on others,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, I need to be able to fellowship with a greater power, right? And then to me as a Christian is God, and I
Hmm.
need to be able to fellowship with myself.
Hmm.
Because if I don't have a chance to fellowship with myself, I can't just jump and start blaming others for not fellowshipping with me, because that fellowship starts with me. Because if I don't have that in me, how can I be able to pass it around? And then I got to be able to fellowship with others. So you just mentioned the pandemic. Look
Hmm.
how much struggle we've gone through, and we're not off the woods yet, but glory to
Hmm.
be to God, it's better now. But imagine now during the pandemic where churches were closed and different entities were closed. So the ones that survived were the ones that were able to also learn how to fellowship with God and also fellowship with self. Because
Hmm.
at some point, the fellowship with others, except probably family members, were kind of reduced. So it's important for us to know that unless we are very intentional about these things, we will not be able to make it. And that relationship piece, which is great, is not going to get us over the hump to where we need to be. So you just said it. It's important for us to understand that, even from the biblical perspective, that when God created man, God came into the cool of the evening to fellowship with the man he created. We were not created in the vacuum. I
Hmm.
get it. And one thing I love about the book is what is I give an experience of a Christian in an undeveloped country, because I was born and raised in the Congo. So I gave my experience briefly about the Christianity as far as living in the Congo, and versus a Christian living in a developed world. And these
Hmm.
are important things we need to do, whereby
Right.
you have many Christian programs, for example, in the Congo, where people can be in church like four or
Yeah.
five times a week,
Hmm.
versus in the developed country where it's less. Well, it doesn't mean that because I live in the United States of America today that I fellowship less with God. No, I just have to develop strategies
Hmm.
around the time that is allocated to me to keep the fellowship going. So all those struggles, all those different realities are things that will come as stumbling blocks to us, but
Yeah.
if we are wise enough, we can use them as stepping stones. We can use them
Mm,
as staircases for us to continue strengthening our fellowship with God, with self, and with one another.
absolutely. I'm glad that you say that, because to me, you just said something with intentional. Like
Yes.
the fellowship that I have to really make sure that I'm checking on, on folks around me and making sure they're okay. Even though they say, yeah, I'm good, especially in church, Pastor Albert, that's something that I think you have to dig deep more than that. When people say, oh, yeah, I'm fine by the grace, by the God of grace. Yeah, but I have,
And not to interrupt you, the
yes,
reason why the church is usually portrayed like that is
yeah,
because we have forgotten that the church is not heaven.
yeah,
The church still a place of imperfection.
right.
The church still a place where it's like a hospital. You
Mm,
cannot be surprised if you come to the hospital and people are throwing up, people
right.
are moving around with needles and
Mm-hmm,
different
mm-hmm,
things. So one of the things that we need to be mindful and be very intentional is
mm-hmm,
because we think God is going to do it. No, God is not going to do what you can do.
mm-hmm.
God only does what is humanly impossible.
That's right.
Every time we have a way to do what is humanly possible, God folds his arms and he watches us and see, okay, guys, I'm waiting for you to come where I am. But when you are standing in front of your Red Sea, that's when the miracle happens. But
Yeah, that's right.
when you're being chastened by Pharaoh, there's no miracle. You got to
Mm-hmm,
run. You got to
mm-hmm.
keep on walking. You got to keep on pushing. But when you get in front of your Red Sea, then you have no choice. God has to step in. So you said very important. It's important for the church to be intentional about it, but it's also important for us to know that the church is not a perfect place.
Right.
There's still imperfection, but
And
we
we
got to
need
work
to
on it.
deal with that on a regular daily basis. It's not just
Yes.
at one time. And as a leader, that's what you, I mean, I've been watching you, dealing with different people, all kind of these, different people, quiet people, crazy people, or
Yeah.
I mean, whatever the mind, but you always find a way to handle them. And it takes some patience to,
Yes.
first of all, because I don't think I am like that, but I'm learning to
We're
cope with
praying for you.
people. Because but to me, that's a very key thing to really have as a leader,
Yes.
making sure that you really fellowship with them, even though you don't understand what they're going through in the journey, but you just being available. And that's what you've been to for so many years, for us
Yes.
and for many
Well,
people around me.
to God be the glory. I mean that's important to me because I do believe that ministry doesn't just stop after we say amen on Sunday.
Mm-hmm,
Ministry starts even on Monday and goes all the way until the end of the week. So if you only care about me on Sunday, you're telling me all you care about is about my spiritual self. But I am a spirit, I possess a soul, and I live in a body. So if you're going to minister to me, you have to be able to minister to my spirit, minister to my emotions,
mm-hmm,
and be able to attend to some of my physical needs, right? Because if I don't have food, if I don't have clothes, if I don't have shelter, and all you care about is to preach to me on Sunday, well,
mm-hmm.
I can hear all of that, Mr. Preacher, amen. But at the end of service, I gotta pay rent.
Right.
I need
Yep.
food. I need to see all of those things because the social aspect of ministry is
Mm-hmm,
what brings us to understand that we need to fellowship with one another. Because the truth be told, you just one step away from the next crisis in your
mm-hmm,
life. And
mm-hmm,
then this pandemic again has shown to us that we are all leveled on the same field, right? So it's not like some people are super than us. We saw the mighty and the strong go through the same thing that we went through.
mm-hmm.
Everybody quarantined, everybody had to slow down. So at the end of the day, only God remained the same. So it's important for us, and that's what I take in me, and I run with it to understand that I need to be able to be in touch with my fellow brothers and sisters and be able to fellowship, and that's service. You cannot serve if you don't know how to fellowship. You cannot be effective in your fellowship with others if you don't fellowship with self. And you cannot be really decent to self unless there's a greater power with whom
Mm-hmm.
you're fellowshipping. So it's a whole chain that we need to continue pushing for us to better ourselves and then be a blessing around this dying world.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about your mindset. because that's something that has shaped you in so many ways. I've seen you, really, going through different situations and really growing, but also being transparent about that, and
Yes,
that's something I would like to, as a leader, as an authentic leader, you always have to put a show and share, with
yes,
people that, God has put around you. And I've seen you really for so many, for so many direction, really sharing, and that's something that we need to keep doing that in the body of
yes,
Christ, in the leadership, because
yes,
that's how others they're learning from us, not just by talking, but by watching us, and I've seen you
absolutely.
really doing that, for so many occasions. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the principle that I keep, I have a few. Like if you allow me to share them,
absolutely.
one of them is to know that to whom much is given, much is required, but
Yes.
not all is
Hmm.
required. It's
Yes.
much. But
Hmm.
what we have done in the circle of the church, in the circle of leadership, is what is we expect everything from the leader. No, to whom much is given, much
Hmm.
is required. Not all is required. And another thing that I've learned, and some of the principle that guides me is what is I always hope for the best, but I prepare for the worst. So my expectation is balanced. So when I come into service mode, when I come into helping someone, I'm hoping that I'm able to pull the best out of them by the grace of God, but I'm also prepared in case I don't get that feedback.
Hmm.
you know and then the third one is what is, as leaders, as servant, we got to understand that our reward does not come from the people that we are serving.
Yes.
Our reward always comes from God Himself and from others. And then the idea of helping, of service, is not just about me serving you today, Sister Jeanine, so I can get something back from you. But my idea of service is a chain. What I've done to you, whatever
Hmm.
help I've rendered, look at you today, empowering so many people through your channel. So that's a blessing to me. I didn't just wait for you to give back to me maybe what I've invested in you, but we're going to continue the chain if we keep on doing it to the least of this. So
Hmm.
whatever empowerment, whatever grace God is giving you to do, just go ahead and pass it along. And then I should have probably started there, but I'll probably end answering this question there. One of my greatest secret was my late father. My late father, bless his soul, he
Yes.
was a general in the army in the Congo, and he taught me discipline. He taught me hard work. He taught me respect. So some of those values have also guided me. It has not just been the speaking in tongues. It
Hmm.
also has been what I was taught as a
Yes.
man, how
Hmm.
to walk, and which we need to pass on the knowledge around
Hmm.
for the people to be able to be empowered and to change and to progress. And transparency is a key. You got to let people, hey, I'm so sorry. It's not because I say that I wronged you or I did something that takes away who I am,
Right.
because the gift gonna be there.
Hmm.
The gifts go, if you are gifted, you are talented. That's why it really baffles me when I see people trying to destroy a gift, whether
Yes.
in the church or it just in the world. Well, if you destroy that gift, you're not going to get the gift by destroying the one that bears it. But you can actually benefit if you keep the gifted alive. So if someone is gifted, I want to say to anybody and everybody that can hear us tonight, work with them, help them, shelter them, gather some strength around them, because what is in them will still going to benefit you regardless of all the seasons they're going through their lives.
Absolutely. That is very true. And make sure that you are really supporting them in whatever they want support in.
Yes.
Because I just want to give an example, because the idea of a man of God or like a leader, it's usually that they come, they resolve everything for us. No, it's really about listening and
Yes.
giving you strategy and tools. And that's what I've been seeing Pastor Albert on so many occasions. And then, guys, I'm very real. Like I always come, and not always on a spiritual level. Like I need advice on it. I need advice on so many other things that I come with, and he probably doesn't have the background of that, but he just gave me the solution for that. He gave me the strategy and tools, and it's just because of his mindset because he's a leader. So he kind of know where to shift, like just like he said, it's not about all about speaking in tongues 24 hours. It's also finding solution that
Yes.
from what I want, that
Yeah.
the advice that he needs to give to me and other people who come, and I really want to bring that to church, Pastor Albert. How can you be able to advise other leaders, other men and women of God, not necessarily just stay on the spiritual side, which is a basic and very important, but
Yeah.
also having more discussion and strategy, that business strategy planning,
Yes.
in church, because we kind of we kind of shy away a little bit from that, and I
Right.
don't see a lot of us really finding solution for
Right.
people, like
Right.
creating trainings in the
Yes.
church or creating
Yes.
some workshop. I mean, why we don't see that? Why?
Well,
Why
well,
not?
well, it's a great concern. I would say number one is a lack of balance.
Mhm.
See, here's the thing that we have in our churches, in our communities, Christian communities, mostly is that lack of balance causes leaders to fear the unbalanced reality of the church still being a beacon of hope in a community. So
Yes.
the idea is what is okay, if we start doing these job fairs, we start doing all these things, maybe people will become less spiritual. Well, the truth be told is not that people will become less spiritual, but it's simply that maybe the leader is not convinced enough of the foundation
Mhm.
teachings that he has
Yes.
been given to his people. Because
Mhm.
a grounded Christian, someone like myself, I mean, I can go anywhere and everywhere and do whatever craziness in my mind that I want to do,
Mhm.
but I'm still going to be a child of God. I
Yeah.
don't know anything else to be but being a child of God. And all of that thanks to those who brought me up into the Lord. So the leaders need to accept that balance and not be also, threatened by the fact that those who know, because passing on knowledge and empowering people, if
Yes.
you're not comfortable in your own skin, it becomes a threat.
Mhm.
Many leaders today are not, freely sharing what they know, freely sharing the knowledge or being able to empower the people because in the back of their mind, if I empower them, they'll be able to soar high. If they soar high, then where am I going to be? So it's important for the leader in the Christian arena to understand that you like it or not, people are living outside of the church, then they're also coming into the church. So we
Right.
need to be balanced. We need to hear, like I said from the beginning of this broadcast, is what is being a leader is not just leading people, but
Mhm.
also being led by those people. What are their needs? Because if we listen to the needs of the community, we will become effective because we can pray all we want, but if a community needs, for example, there's violence in that community, well, we're going to have to engage the community, maybe
Right.
create some after school program, maybe bring like a gym or whatever, maybe what it is, but you're not going to be able to come and impose your views simply as a leader because the people also have some challenges. So to me, the main thing is what is being able to be balanced, being able to listen to the community and engage the community. We have to be engaging the community. You don't know how many people I've helped with immigration issues, for example, right? That, they came to a church on Sunday, we pray, but
Yeah.
Monday, hey, Pastor, this is what I need to care about them too. What is going on
Mhm.
Monday? What's going on Tuesday? And then
Right.
guess what? Then we cry about church growth, right? The church is not growing. The church is not installing. Well, the reason sometimes is because we are absent in the community. When things are happening from Monday to Saturday, we are not there. Then we want them to come to on Sunday to do what?
Mhm.
To
Mhm.
pretend like we are a unity? Wait a minute. What happened to the unity on Monday? What happened to the
Yeah.
unity on Tuesday? So
That's
we
right.
need to be practical leaders and engage those needs for us to be able to see the transformation that we've been praying about.
Absolutely. We need to be practical and balanced leader. That I hope you guys are taking note. Thank you so much, Mama Levi, for joining us, and Mama Bibiche from France. I'm so excited to have you guys here. And that's very key because we have to be balanced and practical leaders. I just want to give you guys another example. Last night, I was working on a consulting thing. Guess what? Guess who I called? Pastor Albert. He show up like always, again, he's very balanced leader. That's why I'm saying I'm very blessed to have him in my life, because you need to have, those type of friend and leader who can be able to jump and, they counsel you on this side, and then, they can be able to keep up with you and make sure that you have the strategy that you need. So
Yes.
like last night I was working on something. I really want his feedback. So he look at this, okay, I think it's ready. You can send it in. That's how you can be able to cope, especially right now with entrepreneurship, Pastor.
Yes.
I want you to give, some feedback, some suggestion to many leaders who are watching us right now. What can they do, in the community? It could be in church, to be able to stay relevant and to keep up with technology, entrepreneurship in church, so they
Yeah.
can be able to produce solution for their community, for people.
Yeah, so to me, like I said, it might sound redundant, it might sound like I'm repeating myself, but the key is what is being able to listen. See, one of the things I'll tell you today, we have a disconnect sometimes between older people in the church and younger people,
Yeah.
which is very unnecessary, because we can have a blend of both, right?
Right,
God
right,
is the
right,
same yesterday, today, and forever. It means
right.
that God can adapt into the today, into the now. But we are the ones staying in our tradition. So what I encourage leaders and folks to, in order to bring entrepreneurship, is what is all the big companies. All I remember when we started, with my corporation, before COVID, we were talking about Project Freedom. So the
Hmm.
idea was to have people work remotely before
Yeah,
even COVID came. And then when
right.
COVID came, we were not surprised, because
Hmm.
we were already used to these Teams meetings, the
Yeah,
Zooms, and all of that. So you got to be able to listen. You got to be able to look at the needs, because one thing I come to discover is what is people may refuse your message.
hmm,
People may sometimes even not tolerate your prayer. But if you bring a common needs around the community, they will jump onto it. So we have to identify those, from your city, from your area, because to me, that's ministry. To
yeah,
me, that's leadership. And then
hmm,
imagine if all of us will begin to emulate that, the chain will grow, the chain will get stronger. And the idea is not for us to be senior or younger leader, or leaders that don't have impact, but everyone will have an idea of leadership. And then that's what we'll be able to advance. That's what we'll be able to push it. And to me, right now, I speak the language of fellowship. And what a best way to fellowship if not all of us are moving forward together. All
yeah,
of us are being able to, achieve in the different areas, because money, fame, and all those things, yeah, they come and go, but at the end of the day, you will still need them. But once
right,
you discover your purpose, so if you're a true leader, you must have a purpose. Why did you accept the call of leadership? And
right,
once you look at your purpose, then begin to move towards it. And trust me, resources will come, because
hmm,
there's somebody sitting there that has resources that's waiting for your idea. They're just waiting for you to show up. And once you show up, they'll finance you. And my take has always been, when people ask me, well, Pastor, how are we going to do it? Well, how are we going to purchase this? I said, well, you and I will purchase. God will send
exactly.
somebody. It's
Yeah,
through us. So the
yeah,
idea that we sit there, especially, let me say this, maybe, I don't know your audience, especially, some of us, African American or Black, we always think that we have to wait for somebody to do it for us. No, we got to get up. We have the same brain. We have 5 fingers like everybody else. The reach doesn't have 26 hours in the day, it's the same 24 hours.
yeah.
So that's what I will encourage the leaders to do.
Absolutely. Guys, I hope you're taking notes, because it's all about showing up and really being there available to be for your community as a leader, because that's the true meaning of true leadership and being authentic leader. Another thing that I just want us to wrap up about, it's really about making sure that, like you said, we are really meeting where people are. It's
Yes.
very important as a very balanced leader. Can
Yeah.
you give us some 2 or 3 strategy as a leader, and also as many leaders who are listening to you, so we make sure that we are actually making sure everybody, we are
Yes.
meeting them where they are, not the perspective of, oh yeah, I know what she
Right.
needs, I know what
Right.
he needs,
Right.
but just really going to and read between lines
Right.
sometimes, because some
Right.
people, they're not really open, they're not that open, just like you said, that the church
Right.
is really a hospital where you
Yeah.
kind of be able to dig deep and really find where you can meet everybody.
Yes.
Even though I'm a twin, but I
Yeah.
I have a different need than my twin sister. Like
Absolutely.
I remember so many times the way you counsel me, or the way
Yeah.
you give me strategy and solution. It's totally different for my twin sister, or totally
Yes.
different for my brother or sister. So as a
Yes.
leader, you kind of need to differentiate. So if you can give us some few
Right. Right. So,
strategies.
the tools that I will give you is basically in time. Because one thing about leaders, they like to be precise. So in my approach, I have the past, I have the present, and I have the future.
Yes.
So the first tool about the past is what it is: always look at your own journey.
Mm,
Because
yes.
the moment you begin to consider your own journey, you will be able to show compassion to others. You'll be able to be understanding to others. You'll be able to look yourself through them. You'll be able to understand their journey. Because most of the time we fail to be more inclusive is because we act like we just showed up at the block, right?
Mhm.
We act like
Yes.
all of a sudden I'm wearing a collar, all of a sudden, and even with the collar that we wear, we still make mistakes. We
Hmm.
still stumble, we still fall. So
Right.
always the first thing I'll tell the leaders, look at the past. Because if you look at the past, you'll be able to mirror your past with the person you're trying to help. Now, the second part is the present.
Yeah.
Now, in the present, I always come with the humility of equality. What do I mean by that? I am not better than anybody. So today, if I stand, any man that woke up this morning, any woman that woke up this morning had the same chances that I had. So how dare me consider them as being disqualified? How dare me consider them as not, adequate enough to get the same grace? So with the present, I try to measure, and then I try to invest so whatever I'm going through today, all the challenge that bubbling into me, whenever I'm talking to you, like for example, when we spoke last night, practically
Hmm.
with you, right? So
Right.
I also have some deadlines myself. I also
Yeah.
have all these different projects. So by me helping you, it was a way to tell myself, hey, you still struggle too, right? So
Yes.
she's struggling the same way you're struggling. So the
Yeah.
present will make us relevant. Now, the last a tool I'll give to the leader: always look at the future. And this is so powerful because only God knows the future. So if we begin to consider the future, we treat each other with more respect, more dignity, and it becomes an investment into the other person because I might need you tomorrow, Jeanine.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yesterday, you're the one that needed help. But wait a minute, the life is keep on going on. So
Yeah.
once I realized that, that's why I'm able to help everybody and anybody that needs help because it's an investment. Sometimes people quote scriptures without understanding, right?
Mhm.
So Psalm 37 verse 25 say, David say, I was young and now I'm old. I never seen the righteous forsaken, no he sit begging for bread, right? We chant it, but verse 26 say, is always compassionate and lends.
Yeah.
That's why his posterity is blessed. So the reason why the righteous is not forsaken is not by accident. It's because the righteous is a sower,
Hmm.
somebody
Yeah.
that goes out and sowed seed. So if
Right.
as a leader you consider the past, you consider the present and the future, trust me, you will recalibrate your way of helping people. And you
Mm.
become a magnificent, magnificent leader because you will always put time into it.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's the tool that I can humbly suggest to any leaders watching us or that will be able to watch us later on.
Oh, guys, I hope you're taking notes, you're listening to Pastor Albert. And these are not things that he just read in the book. No, this is something he went through, he experienced it, and I've watched him many, many times. So, our last question to you before we wrap up: what leadership has cost you?
My God, leadership has cost me a lot. Leadership has cost me so much that I have become so selfless. So it's not just what I've lost, because I know I'm going to keep losing stuff, but it's just the pain of solitude that comes with leadership. Because you're the person that sees the vision, you're the person that understands things before others maybe may understand it. And sometimes you have to walk with the baggage. You have to walk with things in your heart that you cannot share with anybody. You have to believe what you sow in secret until it comes to pass, and you withstanding the humiliation, withstand, and then sometimes getting to a point where you realize that you don't even have to speak anymore. You'll be blamed, you'll be, and I used to say that a lot when I was actively pastoring a local church. I say it's so funny because every time things goes well, it's always God's is moving into place. But let just one thing go strong. That pastor, he's not praying anymore. He doesn't know God. So again, leadership has cost me a lot. But as much as it has cost me, it has also brought joy. Like looking at you today, looking at the fruit. I have many sons and daughters. Some of them have dissociated themselves from me. To God be the glory. They still have my DNA. So one day I'll wake up and start calling all of you guys and collecting everything I need. But at the end of the day, it has also brought so much joy into my life. Because remember, only purpose will bring joy into your life. It's not material stuff. It's not achievement. It's not what you lose and what you gain. It's knowing that you are doing what you were created to do, regardless of the pain, regardless of the rejection, the humiliation. So leadership has cost me a lot, but leadership has blessed me and still blesses me because I'm on this platform tonight because of leadership, not
Yeah.
because of anything else. So it's been that humbling experience, and we're still writing chapters and we're still moving forward by the grace of
Oh, absolutely. I don't even want to stop, but we have to stop. But to me, again, I want to just want to say, guys, you've been listening to us today. It's only the second time that Pastor Albert has come, but we're gonna have many, many things that in the future, with him, really leading and training leaders here on this platform. But I want to say, in front of everybody, I'm very blessed to have you in my life because you are such a balanced leader on so many levels that I don't even feel like sometimes that you definitely know how you have blessed me, how you have blessed many people that I know through you, and only the power of fellowship. For I've
God.
known you
God be
more
the
than
glory.
25 years, and you've always been consistent. And that's one thing I love about you and your leadership is because the consistency that have helped me so much. Many
Yeah.
people have come and go into my life. You always been consistent, and that really speak volume to me. So I just want to say thank you again.
Amen.
And for
You are
all of
most
you guys,
welcome.
learn how to be consistent with
Yes.
people that, really with people that God has given you into your life. And
Right.
make sure you know them and you also meet them where they are so all of you guys can grow and really
Yes.
strengthen, the power of your fellowship.
Yeah. And that's the journey. And like I said, we're gonna be launching the book this
That's what I'm
Saturday.
just about to say. Please
So
give
yeah,
people
we
all the links and everything so
yes,
they can be able
I
to
will send
purchase.
it to you. My Facebook is there, and then my social media platform. And please, you can purchase the book on
Please.
Amazon, so it's available. And I just believe that it's going to bless you because there is nothing you can achieve in this life without fellowship. And
Yes.
I really urge you to to buy it, to read it, to consume it because my prayer is that the message that is in the book will be a blessing to you and you'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to pass it along because that's the purpose for which God allow us to put this book out there. And we are here to serve. And if you're in the Detroit metro area where we are, hey, say hello. We'll probably meet you or help you. I mean, if you need help, there's always something that we can do for you. So God bless. And Jeanine, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to spend this blessed evening here and just sharing what I love to do, being able to empower somebody. And I hope somebody got at least a little plus into their journey. And, and I gained too. Don't worry, I gained as well.
Absolutely. And guys, I just really want you to click on the his name, Pastor Albert Iwondo. Make sure that you follow him on all his links so you can be able to keep up with him because I really assure you the right leader right now that can be able to give you that guidance that you need. And also just purchase the book and be able to share that, even for your Bible study or even for your time for mentoring. That could be
Yes.
this book that you can be able to use. That you can even invite him.
Yeah.
He can be able to do a session with you on the Zoom,
Absolutely.
even though you don't live in the area, in the Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. You can be able to invite him, and he's very flexible, guys. I've told you that he have, really done, like, always show up. That's something that I really assure you. When you invite him, he can definitely do impossible to make sure that he comes and serve your community. So you won't be disappointed. Make sure that you purchase on Amazon, on all his links. Follow him and really seeking that guidance that you want right now, because he's definitely an authentic leader that I've seen him many years. So thank you again, Pastor Albert.
Oh,
And
thank you.
it's only the couple times that you have come back. Do come more so we can, all of us, read the book and come back again to be able to talk more, because that's really what we need right now.
Yes.
In this
Yeah.
pandemic, we
It's
need
a
to
blessing.
learn that, how
Yeah,
to
it's a
fellowship.
blessing. And just one lastly thing I may say is what
Mhm.
is just to be intentional and practical. There's the last section of the book as practical techniques on
See?
how to stay connected
Yeah,
with fellowship. I'm talking about real life scenarios. So it's
yeah.
really going to empower somebody. And I highly recommend it. I say, even if I did not write that book, I would have bought it myself. So,
Absolutely. See, guys, you need to have that book. And I want everybody, for a month from now, I want everybody to have that book, because I will have time to read for myself too, so I can have more time to be able to dig deep into the book. Because
yeah.
this is the platform that we bring people and experts and consultants and leaders who are really giving us tools and strategies so we can be able to become those leaders that we meant to be. Okay. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
being tonight, empowering you TV community. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys on Sunday again. Thank you, Pastor Albert.
All right. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
God bless you.
Okay. Bye bye.